Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming Steam Machine, the big competition between PlayStation, and the fact that Xbox was actually super worried that PlayStation was going to go completely take over the entire living room, which it kind of seems like it did, and there's a lot of other various news when it comes to just big competition, the fact that it's good that the Steam Machine is coming out, and of course that PlayStation users are a little bit concerned on if this will be a somewhat bigger replacement. So let's go dive on into the video itself. We're probably going to be live up on Twitch. One of these videos are live if you guys are bored. Want to click that up and check it on out, or check out the giveaway we have linked down below for the PS5 Pro, various other consoles, all that stuff, and let's go and dive on into the video itself. So first and foremost, the Steam Machine, if you guys missed it, we made a video on this itself, is a still questionable price point console that's basically utilizing the Steam OS. Steam is the main thing when it comes to PC players. I have a bajillion games on Steam, and I actually kind of want to buy a Steam Machine if the price is good. My expected price point for it is around $500, and I may make another one or two videos on this topic. If you guys enjoy it, like, feel free to subscribe or let me know. But I feel like the Steam Machine does have a good place maybe for the console market, like all of us. But some people are saying that it actually might not be as good as the PS5 Pro, or as well, might not be as good as a normal general PS5. So basically, the Valve Steam Machine may not be as affordable as the PS5, which also means it may not be as good. We don't know the price of Valve's new Steam Machine. That means it's difficult to determine just how competitive it'll be against the PS5. If it's cheaper, it'll take it over everything. But a report that's doing its rounds versus Linus Tech Tips suggests that the new console-like hardware won't necessarily be going head-to-head with Sony's system when it comes to affordability. As part of the story shared by Dexterto, the YouTuber noted a bad energy during a recent press preview session where he alluded that the upcoming device actually having around a console price point. They asked what I meant by console, and I said $500, he said on the Juan show, following his meeting with Valve, saying nobody said anything, but the energy in the room wasn't great. I'm assuming it means like, hey, I was like, what price point do you guys think sounds good? $500, which is mine on the dot. And then everyone in the room kind of like looks at each other like, ooh, 500, you know, the economy's kind of rough right now. There's some tariff things going on. That's kind of seeming like how it seems like. And $500 would probably take over the console market, or at least would have a big, split into it. Something more like 700 or so, not the best. It's far from a confirmation of anything, but the vibes are not announcements, and Valve staff may just be playing their best poker faces. But considering the Steam Machine is actually somewhat weaker than the PS5, which I'd actually like to go and deep dive a little bit in a separate video. But basically the whole idea is that the PS5, they're trying to do like the big rough averages of what people want on their PCs. And apparently a lot more people on Steam have more mediocre PCs. Its overall value proposition would have to be questioned if it ends up costing more than Sony's console. Because if it's weaker and costs more, is it going to be worth it at the end of the day? So I don't know. Even Linus says it's over $600. It'll be hard. I would probably agree. But we do need to have some sort of competition. But it might be okay. Like the PlayStation might be safe. Maybe we'll have a counterpoint like Devil's Advocate, the PlayStation might be in trouble video throughout this week. But we also had this intriguing thing that's kind of related. So that Microsoft was actually afraid of Sony, and that was going to basically own the living room over the Xbox. Xbox 360 boss Peter Moore shed a new light on his fierce battle with PlayStation and the origins of the modern console war. So they have like a bigger interview over here, so I'm just going to get a few bits and pieces. But they were basically saying that the Xbox 360 had a good stay. It sold very comparable to the PlayStation 3, and this was probably the one console generation people would mostly say Xbox One. You had Halo, you had Call of Duty. I mean, PlayStation did as well, but more people played on Xbox. Like, this was the place to be. Or if you ever remember the old school memes, it's like the Xbox Live lobbies, not the PlayStation lobbies, just the Xbox Live lobbies. And, well, apparently this was always a big deal. Trying to, I guess, kind of corner the console market, which is why this is very ballsy that Valve is doing their Steam Machine. And why I think it actually is nice. Now, it's still depending on the price. If the price is expensive, I mean, if it's worse than the PS5 Pro, I'll get a PS5 Pro. You get very similar amounts of games. You do get more indies on the Steam. You get more qualities and stuff like that. Like it's an actual PC. But still, in terms of pure gaming, I think the PS5 would maybe be okay. Maybe. Anyway, they have these little interviews over here talking more about these old school legacy games like Madden and Halo and all these OG games that were kind of just groundbreaking games. And, well, that was just again, kind of like summarizing some of these things. But they had all these big meetings, with like, say, like there's all these different companies and they're trying to figure out what to go and do. And they have all these cool, crazy Microsoft gaming plans, you know, all this type of stuff. New Xboxes in development, things about to go launch, the world becoming an actual gaming sphere. But it was a big thing because a lot of this was into the console fight between Sony and Microsoft. So people are saying, but what was it actually like on the inside? Was there a big fierce rivalry? And right now it seems like the rivalry has died down a little bit, but there's still a big deal with this all. Saying, I come from the sneaker wars, as we call it here in America. The Reebok versus Nikes, where you go head to head because market share is critical. There's only 100% market share, and so the fight is you basically have to win against anyone. It's a battlefield. Like, not the game, it's just a lot. Like, this is why Steam is ballsy. Because you have Xbox, you have PlayStation, you have Switch, that all has kind of the cornerstone of the market. Now, the handhelds are a good idea, and they tried to make a Steam machine before. So we'll see if this round 2 is going to be better. But I still kind of feel like PlayStation's going to be safe. I don't think the Steam machine is going to take over that much of the market share. I think there's potential. I guess they'll maybe make another follow video on it more. But like right now, I think like PlayStation's mostly fine. If even Xbox couldn't do it, Steam is probably the one company that probably could compete, but still. So basically, there's also other times too where they had like software as a service, and now they're working at these big things like such as having consoles, and it's just it's like live service for a console basically to either go from making games to actually having consoles too as well. So their own campus from their own Microsoft buildings, they had all this cool hardware, but also first-party games. Like this would be such a cool job to have. Like imagine like a college campus type style vibe where you just have different companies all in one place and you have the main Xbox head like hub. This would be such a cool dream job to be a part of. But yeah, they were like, yeah, this was like, they were confident at the time. They had all this good quality. They thought like these games were going to be good. They had like all these, I don't know, I guess their futures were happening. Like it was cool. Like the idea of like developing like a big competition. It's like a startup almost. Like the Xbox did well. The Xbox 360 is like, here's our proof of concept and we approve it and let's go be PlayStation. And it seemed like they were doing that, like that was cool. Like they rocked PlayStation with the PlayStation Network, re-rocked them. Like they're basically saying like we were proud that we at least stirred up, like we put up a fight. Like we weren't like it wasn't a one-sided thing. Which is what people are worried about with the Steam machine. You sell 2 or 3 million of them, that's still good for an overall success. That's not a PlayStation or Xbox, but it's not stealing that much from PlayStation market share. And I'm sure a lot of those are just enthusiast users who would be buying both anyway. So much of the 360 plan was already in place when you joined Microsoft versus what's left to do. So the initial strategy, they had it all. They were still selling the old Xbox and they were just losing money from it all. And like, yeah, they had attach rate to the software, but they're like, let's just move on. Like, let's go and do it. So around 2004, they were kind of out of the business. They got rid of the original Xbox and they're about to launch this next console. So there's a lot to be done and they need to build the interface, Xbox Live, and this is all like brand new stuff. Like, remember at the time, like online was not normal for everyone. It was like still being developed for online gaming. I remember times when I had like my GameCube or PS2 and I didn't even have online. It was crazy. Like that big change up in stand up over there is cool technology for people to get into now in the first place. But like, yeah, like basically the whole picture of this all, because there's a lot of little small points for, if you just want to read it, I actually would recommend it. But the idea behind this though is that Xbox had a big push on the console market. They did a lot. They were competing with the PlayStation 3. It was a good console on both ends, and they were still trying to compete pretty hardcore with the Series X and S. They did ultimately kind of fail. Like, they did well. I would say like 30 million Xboxes, probably a little bit more at this point. That's a win. But it seems like they're tapering off, and they're not making as much money, and they're just trying to do their publishing with Call of Duty, whatever. It is what it is. And that's why I think it's integral to have this competition still be here. Because if we lose Xbox, we're stuck with the PlayStation 6 and the Switch 2. And that's all we got. Or like the Xbox PC, Xbox handheld. Right now, no one really cares about the Xbox handheld. I'm gonna be honest. Like some people did, it was cool, but like it's overpriced. It's too much money. Steam Machine, if it's priced well, can take over the market, but it's probably not gonna be able to compete with PlayStation or even Xbox. Let's be realistic. But at the same time, it's competition that drives innovation, and competition makes the prices stay low, more games come out, higher quality, and that's why we need something like Xbox, or at least the Steam Machine. I want the Steam Machine to win. I want the Steam Machine to sell like 10 million copies. I want it to have good specs and a good price point. I want it to be cheaper than the PS5, so then people have an excuse to go and maybe get into PC gaming. They'll utilize Steam for the first time, enjoy the whole process. And I think that's a win. Like, I want this to happen. I want this road to happen. So let me know your thoughts on this all. Because it's said that it kind of seems like Xbox is slowly bowing out. They're realizing they can't really compete. They lost most market share. They're happy just selling Call of Duty and Game Pass and use AI, whatever Microsoft plans on doing. But like, I still don't like that we don't have another person to kind of fill in the blank. I don't think this Steam machine's going to do it. I think it might drive a hard bargain. We'll wait for more information. We'll talk about it. It's intriguing. It is a new console. But I think it still needs a little bit smidgen more. And it's cool to see that the Xbox 360, they had that gung-ho drive. They wanted to go and compete. But they just couldn't do it after the other... I don't know. The 360 was an enigma. It was crazy. It was a very special console even for me. I would say that they actually won. But it's just sad to see this at the end of the day. So give me your thoughts and comments. I don't know. This is kind of a little bit of a yappy video for me. Just kind of talk about how I just hope the Steam machine wins. I was probably not going to. I don't know, a little yap video. Hope you guys don't mind. And give me your thoughts on anything you guys picked up throughout this one down below. I appreciate y'all for watching. Check out the giveaway links, Twitch, all down below.